go, baby. Let's go. A Friday edition of the Slate. Oh my God. With Jeff Ulrich, with Matt, Big Sexy LaMarca, producer Eamon, DK on the ones and twos, Emerson Lazia, yours truly. Hot damn. It is very good to see everybody. Hello, Maddie. How are you?
I'm wonderful. You know, it's my favorite time of year.
Oh, sexy Christmas, sexy Christmas, sexy Christmas time. I told you multiple times before, I can't sing that like around the house because it gets stuck like in my wife's head and that's all she sings. And then like when she's singing it, all I can do is think about you. Like I can't stop thinking about you.
That's what I want. I want you to picture me when you see your wife. All right.
Yeah. Just like, I wish I could just put a backwards hat on her and a beard. All right. Jeff, what's up, dude? How you doing?
I haven't seen you since regretting my decision to volunteer for Friday.
What's going on, man? I haven't seen you since this morning. Are you doing okay?
I'm doing okay. Yes, still surviving, still breathing air, and my heart is apparently beating. So we're good.
Yeah. How do you, Maddie? How do you think the hearts of Rams fans are doing this morning, or maybe even like Raiders bettors here? Like, dude, last night I talked to Jeff about it a little bit this morning, but last night, how would you describe the Baker Mayfield miracle, that comeback? It seemed improbable. It was. He channeled his inner Tom Brady, and then there was also, you could blame the Raiders collapse too, I guess.
Yeah, one of the more improbable results of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a wild year. A lot of things have happened that I don't think people have expected, but Baker Mayfield, a guy who has now essentially been cut from two teams, getting on a plane, traveling across the country, and playing for a new team with essentially no practice time and leading them on a 97-yard touchdown drive. I would have given that no chance of happening at the beginning of the week.
Dude, Jeff Ulrich, have you you've had more time to kind of process this since our discussion this morning, man? But hot damn, I know we kind of joked about it a little bit earlier in the week. Like, can this dude like revive his career like with the Rams? But not necessarily. I thought more about it, him sticking with the Rams. But if he can put some decent results together, like he may get another opportunity here with another team like next year. Let's say like the Colts or someone like that.
I mean, look, you put a talented quarterback behind like a good offensive line on a good team with a coach who is just a good play caller and puts his players in a position to succeed. And, like good things will eventually happen. I mean, Baker was, when the Browns went to the playoffs that year, he was very serviceable. He was fine. He wasn't bad. He's the number one overall draft pick. He's got talent. He's certainly got the arm talent still. You saw in that last play. I mean, absolutely pinpoint, just drifted it right into where only Van Jefferson could get it. So there's still potential here. Let's not forget, like he's not a very old player. I mean, he's still got lots of prime years left. Sometimes it just takes players longer to develop. So yeah, he probably will get another shot, and he probably deserves another shot, to be honest, as well. So but again, like I think one thing we know about Baker Mayfield now is he's not going to like carry a franchise. Like he's not Lamar Jackson, where everyone can fold around him and Lamar can just be like, you know what, I'm winning this game. That's not really Baker Mayfield's MO. I don't think that he's Burrow. I don't think that he's Lamar, but I think he could be a serviceable quarterback in the realm of, some of these other dudes and do a better job than some of these other guys that are out there right now. So yeah, there's still potential. He's definitely like, this is it. I mean, I'm not giving him any more chances after this. If he can do something with McVay here over the next 3 weeks, that'll be cool to see. I'm still not holding my breath. It was one game. It was the Raiders, but the talent is undeniable with a guy like that. So
for sure. So now they're going to get 7.5 points. Their next game, which would be the last game of week 15, they'll be Monday Night Football at the Packers. That'll be exciting. We're not going to go ahead and look ahead to that right now. Let's do the rest of week 14 right now. Maddie LaMarca, give me an underdog on the board you are backing.
An underdog that I am backing. I like the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yes, and I think Jeff was going to go that same spot possibly. Why do you like them?
Well, first of all, I think Jacksonville is a better team than their record suggests.
Thank you.
They have played a lot of really competitive games this year. that game against the Chiefs, they ended up losing by 10, but that game was a lot closer than the final score indicated.
That was their first 2-score loss of the season, by the way. Everything else before that had been 1 score.
Right. They beat the Ravens. They have some good results on the ledger. And Tennessee, they're a team that, they're probably better than average, but they play a lot of really close games too. They're not the type of team that's going to blow you away. Like Detroit's offense, they scored on 8 possessions in a row to open the game against Jacksonville.
Yeah,
you don't have to worry about that with Tennessee. That's not going to happen. So I think that this game stays close. I think it's the type of game that's like a field goal one way or the other. So I'll take Jacksonville getting to 3.5.
Hell yeah, brother. Yeah, it was pretty pathetic performance against the Lions. I think the only time that they didn't score was the last kneel down series of the game. Whatever, dude. That's in the past, man. We're living in the now. Jeff Ulrich, you were back in the Jags earlier in the week. You still sticking on them as like one of your favorite underdogs?
I still like them. The worry here is Trevor Lawrence. I mean, everything about Matt is why I like the Jags too. I'm going to watch and just wait. Like I'm definitely going. They're in my betting pool. I mean, I will probably bet them, but I want to just wait and get as much information about Trevor Lawrence as possible. I don't think this number is going to move. If anything, it may actually get bigger. So I'm waiting, but they've been on my radar all week. I think it's a good bounce back spot. My favorite underdog though is not the Jags. It's actually the Carolina Panthers. And this number's moved, and this number is really interesting because 75% of the bets, last info I got here on DraftKings, on the Seahawks. But guess what? Almost 70% of the handle is on the Panthers. So we've got a very big, public sharp scenario here going on. And I think the Panthers are in a really good spot. Seahawks have averaged 64 yards rushing over the last 3 games. That's second worst in the NFL. The Panthers have averaged 3.7 sacks per game. That's 4th best. Their D-line is teeing off. And I think Geno Smith's going to have to drop back more in this game. We've got Donta Foreman and DJ Moore playing pretty well. I think Panthers at the very least keep this game close, within 4. I got them at 4.5. Obviously, I'd rather 4.5 than 3.5, but that's not really a key number. You get it over 3, you're fine. I think the Panthers could potentially win this game outright. Seahawks defense has been really bad. They've been relying on Geno Smith too much. And I think the D-line here for Carolina could really control this game. So give me the Panthers.
Yeah, I know Panthers 2-3 ATS on the road this year, but 5-1 ATS in their last 6 games overall. Yes. Dude, Carolina has had more than 250 passing yards only one time this season. I mean, that I guess that's not a huge shocker when you think about that quarterback carousel that they've had. But Geno Smith, 4 straight games with at least 275 passing yards. So he's got the Seahawks right now in the playoff conversation. It's a shame, Jeff, that we don't have Pierce here to back them up this week.
Yeah, no, I mean, if the Seahawks win this game, and this is why I like the Panthers, it's completely because I think Geno Smith saved them. There's nothing else here where I look at this and say, oh, the Seahawks have a decided edge with their defense, or you could make the case that their wide receivers obviously are in a pretty good spot. But again, you've got a good pass rush that may just negate that advantage as well. So like the Panthers here, I think the Seahawks are slightly crumbling a little bit down the stretch. No Kenneth Walker, potentially no DJ Dallas. They just may have no run game, which that's a tough spot for any offense. So,
yeah, how much trouble would the Seahawks be in, Matty, without Kenneth Walker, who right now is the odds-on favorite to win Offensive Rookie of the Year on the DK Sportsbook at plus 200. So, what did we say before the show? He's questionable, maybe a game time decision or something like that.
Yeah, game time decision. And it's not just Kenneth Walker. Their backup running back is also a game time decision.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he came in and just went down right away.
Right. So it would be a combination of Tony Jones Jr., former New Orleans Saints running back, and Travis Homer. So, it would be a problem. I mean, the Seahawks are a team that can pass the football. But I think that Jeff's spot on with his call here. The Panthers are a very sharp target this week. The Sharps love the Panthers, which is why this number has dipped to 3.5. Seattle can score the ball. There's no doubt about it, but their defense is awful. And they're basically like the West Coast version of the Detroit Lions, where they're just going to play in a lot of really competitive games that tend to be high scoring.
Damn. So Christian Watson, what's that? I'm just looking at the rookie of the year odds now. Christian Watson, second best, plus 225. Dude, I didn't realize. So what, his 8 touchdowns last 4 games? That's as
Disgusting.
many as Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon combined. My God, dude. Why have they decided just like not to run the football this year? What the hell is the problem there, Jeff?
Well, they are running the football. They're just not succeeding with it.
And they're also getting behind in a lot of games. You know, like their defense has been an issue. I mean, it's kind of just a little bit of everything, right? Just leading to they can't run the football as much as they quite want to, and then they when they do run it, it's just the offense isn't as effective. They don't have those wide receivers to convert in the red zone. And then I think the biggest thing is just their defense, man. Like they just allow too many points to get behind, and they don't have the weapons to kind of like, they don't have the Devontae Adams to bring it back. I mean, they do now with Watson, but I mean, it's a little bit too late for that.
9 touchdowns, 7 games. He also has 2 rushing touchdowns this year, but so does Aaron Jones.
I would be taking, I'll say I would probably be taking Christian Watson here.
Okay.
At plus 225. I think Kenneth Walker being injured is big. He's been really kind of bad the last couple of weeks. It's kind of like a Watson Wilson thing. I mean, and Chris Olave could get hot down the stretch, but he's attached to Andy Dalton.
Yeah, he was great. Like that the first like 3-4 weeks or something, bro? Like Olave was on effing fire.
Yeah,
he's
just
slowed
been
down considerably.
Yeah. Well, that entire team has been shut out like twice in the last like 5-6 weeks, whatever it is. Maddie, looking at totals here on the board, what's your favorite total right now? And which direction would you go in, over or under it?
So I'm gonna go with the Lions and the Vikings over. I'm just gonna keep riding these 2 teams. There are only 8 teams in football this year that have a better than 500 record on the over, and these are 2 of them. The Lions are 8-4 to the over. The Vikings are 7-5, and it's the highest total of the week at 51.5 points. Excuse me, but the way these teams play, like. There's gonna be a lot of points in this game. It's hard for me to envision either of these defenses slowing down the opposing offense. The Lions, like their record hasn't been great. They are trending in the right direction. We were talking about it. You guys are big Lions believers, want them in the playoffs.
Yeah, baby.
But their offense is a really good unit. Their offense is excellent. And Minnesota can put up points too. So I think that this game should hit the over.
Man, I got Jared Goff as a plug and play this week in one of my season longs. I know everyone cares about that, but I feel it, dude. That offense is hitting its stride.
He's a good fantasy quarterback this week.
I did not realize Jared Goff's prop was at 276 this week. That's got to be like a record for him as a Lion. That's monstrous.
100%. But like everyone who follows football, other than maybe like a few delusional Vikings fans, knows that Minnesota is probably the most overrated 10-2 football team since the Steelers, like years back.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't mind getting on the Lions here as just an outright win or like for the spread either. The money's still coming in on the Vikings. This reminds me of, what was the game where everyone was on the Vikings and they were underdogs and they ended up losing? I can't even remember who they lost to. But
Cowboys?
Yeah, it was the Cowboys. And everyone's like, oh, they just beat the Bills. Why are they the underdogs to the Cowboys? And they just got smoked. I don't know if the Lions are going to smoke the Vikings, but this feels like the exact same scenario. Everyone's like, wow, why are the Vikings underdogs to the Lions? Well, because they're not as good a team, I think, is the answer.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I kind of interested in getting on the Lions here, too. Definitely don't mind the overcall. This number's come down, too, I think. I think it was 52.5. So, I like player props in this game, too.
I'm with you, Jeff, on the Lions just being a good bet this week.
Yeah.
Minnesota right now, right? They are 10-2. They're 29th in the league in yardage differential. Only 3 teams have been outgained by more yards this season than the Vikings. They were outgained by nearly 200 yards last week by the Jets, but they just continue to pull these wins out of their rear ends. And eventually I think that catches up to them. I mean, it did in Dallas or in Minnesota against Dallas, but like this is a 500 caliber football team. They are not a 10-2 type team. So I agree. I think the Lions at anything better than -3 is a play for me.
I mean, hell, just while we're on the topic of that game, the Lions 5-2 ATS at home this year with an excellent +6.5 point differential as well. Just something to keep in mind.
It's an impressive win by them last week against Jacksonville.
Yeah, I agree as much as it pains me to say that. Maddie, I'll start with you on this one. What's Denver, Kansas City? What's the total on that one? Because the under is 11-1. 11-1 in Denver games this year. And that's obviously because this Broncos offense is the worst in the NFL. But on the other side, it's like you have the best offense. And I know the Denver defense is good. Jeff, I think you mentioned a stat earlier this week. They've only given up 23 points, like maybe once.
More than 23 points once this year.
Yeah, once this year. Matt, is this an easy under this week?
Broncos offense, let's cry.
Or it's more like Broncos country, let's die. This is just absolutely awful.
I would probably lean towards the over, believe it or not.
Wow.
I really like the Broncos to cover this number. Yes. It's not so much about Denver as much as this is about Kansas City for me. I am of the belief that Kansas City is an overrated football team. We have seen them. They lost last week to Cincinnati. I mean, there's no shame in losing to the Bengals, but they've played a lot of really close games. Both of their games against the Chargers were decided by 3 points. They beat the Titans by only 3 in overtime. They lost to the Bills, right? Like, this is not a team that is routinely blowing out their opponents. And for as bad as the Broncos have been, they don't get blown out very often.
Yeah.
Right. Their defense keeps them in a lot of games. And while their offense has just been so bad, and it's only going to be worse without Cortland Sutton, it is a matchup that they should be able to move the ball a little bit. Kansas City has just been pretty dreadful on that side of the ball all year.
But so is Denver's offense.
But I think that they can get to the 20s in this game.
Okay.
And if they do that,
Greg
the
Dulcich
Chiefs can get us the rest of the way home.
Jeff, I got him on a plug and play in one of my tight end spots too. And the reason I'm doing that is because you've been like pushing that guy all season long.
35% target share last week for Greg Dulcich.
12.5 ADOT. I mean, he's up there with the top at tight end. I mean, look, he had like 86 yards last week. I'm fully on with Matt here. I bet the Broncos last week. I wrote him up again this week. There's 9 points at home. Like, come on. I mean, you're talking about like one of the top 5 defenses in the league, and you want to give them 9 points. It's just an overreaction. Chiefs just not really good in covering these spots as favorites. They're 9-12-1 covering as away favorites for the last 3 years. It's because their totals get inflated. Their spreads get inflated because it's Mahomes. And this is just a prime spot where you've got the most hated man in America, Russell Wilson, on the other side. So 9 points, this was at 9.5 at one point. It's dropped down to 8.5, but like, who cares? 8.5, 9.5. I mean, it's all the same realm. Just bet it. Take the points. I'll be honest too. Like, at some point, Denver's going to win one of these games. Like, they're going to pull off an upset. I don't even think they're a bad money line bet here. All it takes is like, one, pass to Greg Dulcich, broken play. They actually score a long touchdown, and their defense holds up the rest. So yeah, I don't know if I have the, cojones to do that, but I'm definitely going to take the Broncos on the spread again. And it's Russell Wilson over seasons as well. Over his passing yardage, 221. We'll take that. Chiefs allow a ton of rushing yards or pass yards. So yeah, I'm getting back on the train here. It's up to 223.
Are you on the over train for Cleveland at Cincinnati? I don't know what it is. It was around like 47 or something earlier. We know that Joe Burrow hasn't beaten the Browns as a starter, right? Yet he's 3-0 against Patrick Mahomes. So none of that makes sense. The Bengals have not been able to stop the Browns offense since Cleveland's hire of Kevin Stefanski, by the way. The Browns have averaged more than 33 points per game in this matchup over that time span, and only one of those games failed to hit the over. Okay? But I know Deshaun Watson looked like absolute ass last week. And the only reason they were able to put up points is because of the defense against the Texans here, Jeff.
Yeah, so this is one of those games where it's like everyone seems to be just in consensus. Like the sharp money, the dumb money, whatever you want to call it. The
that
public.
would be me.
Public, just the dummies, the big dummies in the public. Everyone seems to be on the Bengals side. And you know what? I think everyone's right here. You've got a Bengals squad who they're just, I said it earlier in the week. I think I said it to you. They're just gelling, like that gelling, that gelling
Yeah.
Dr. Schultz.
The Dr. Schultz commercial. Hell yeah. You
I'm
gelling,
gelling.
bro?
And we're all gelling. They got Chase back. They're making jokes on the sideline. Mixon's back. They're going to run the ball down the Browns' throats. They know the score here. They know it's 0-4. They know Watson's back. He's looking for his second win. There's no way Joe Burrow's going to let Deshaun Watson get a second win here. No way. They're going to blow them out. The only question is here by how many points, but I like the Bengals over team total here, 25.5. I think they'll put up a lot of points. And I think they'll probably, just probably pick off Watson here. It's an interesting game though, because I still think Watson will get some yards. I kind of like Donovan Peoples-Jones for fantasy, but yeah, in terms of how I think this game is going to go, I think the Bengals probably cover.
I mean, Maddie, going back to the only time that the game has failed to hit the over in this Kevin Stefanski era in Cleveland against the Bengals, that was just by 1 point too, by the way. For some reason, he's got Cincinnati's number here.
I mean, if the Browns can keep it going, I actually think this is a good time to buy low on the Browns. It's nice to finally be on the opposite side of Jeff for a change. We've been too in sync for the rest of this week.
We've been good in sync though. Like when Matt and I are in sync, it usually works out. Everyone else I'm in sync with, it's like it's a disaster. But when Matt and I agree, like usually
what does that say about me? I guess is the real part of it.
No. I mean, as long as you guys are making people money, that's all we give a crap about. To be honest with you, good for you, Matt.
Thanks,
good
man.
For you. Thanks, man.
Thanks, man. Like Deshaun Watson can only get better. And when I think when you factor in how good this team has played in this matchup without him, like I think it's a good spot to potentially buy low. It's also a little bit of a letdown spot for Cincinnati, right? They've had two massive wins in back-to-back weeks against the Titans and the Chiefs. Kind of got their backs off the wall a little bit. Now they have a little bit of breathing room as far as the playoff race is concerned. So they're back at home. They're relatively large favorites. It would not shock me if we don't see their A game this week.
Okay. Let's stay in the AFC North because Jeff, the Ravens have lost 4 in a row to the Steelers here, and the Steelers going to have a backup quarterback, but like Pierce earlier this week, maybe it was today or yesterday, I can't remember, was saying how he thinks the team could actually be better. Baltimore could actually be better with Tyler Huntley under center.
Ridiculous take.
Is it? Well, that's Pierce for you. I mean, that's Pierce. Although the one and most ridiculous take that he ever had, we thought that was the most ridiculous take on planet Earth, was the Seahawks take, thinking that they were going to win this division. And right now it could happen.
It's not so much that his Seahawks take was good because they are falling apart as a team, but his Geno Smith take was excellent. He said Geno Smith was a better quarterback than Russell Wilson. He was right. I'm not sure if he's quite right about Tyler Huntley and Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson just has so much game-breaking potential that, I like what Tyler Huntley does for this offense. I do. I think he runs the ball really smart. And the thing I really like about Tyler Huntley, he throws the ball to Mark Andrews. He knows where his bread and butter is. He doesn't try and get fancy. And I feel like that's Lamar Jackson's issue at some points. He's trying to make like Devin Duvernay into like Jerry Rice, and it just doesn't work. Whereas Huntley just goes out there and executes. He takes simple throws to Andrews, and he peppers them with targets. And that worked for them last year. And I kind of think it's going to work for Huntley again. I wrote up Andrews and Huntley as a top stack this week on DKNation.DraftKings.com. So I like that. And I like Pickens on the other side of this game too. The squeaky wheel has squeaked this week, and Mike Tomlin gave him his blessing. He said, I want guys like that who want to play. I think George Pickens has a really big week. I think he's a good over target for props. So interesting game. I kind of like the over on the total here. It dipped to 36.5. Loved it there. Even at 37, I think it's just a tick too low. So I'm not going to try and predict who wins this because this is always a 3-point game between these two teams, but I like the over and I like those guys for fantasy.
Who are you backing in this game, Maddie?
Yeah, I think that the praise for Tyler Huntley is just more proof about why being a backup quarterback is the greatest job in the world.
Oh my God, it is the best.
It's a good
Like
take.
if you don't go out
with
on the
you.
field and like literally just pee your pants in the huddle, everybody's like, this guy, man, are we sure he's not better than the starter? Here are Huntley's numbers from last year. 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions,
Okay.
5.1 adjusted yards per attempt, 154 passing yards per game, 1-3 record as a starter.
Okay. Okay.
The world where he is better than Lamar Jackson is not a world that we live in. And I think that the Steelers, like I've been on the Steelers basically ever since TJ Watt came back into the lineup. And it's worked for me for the most part. I'm not stopping this week. I think that laying less than a field goal against a backup quarterback, I'm more than happy to do that.
Okay. I want to know your thoughts here, Maddie, on Tom Brady's San
New
Francisco
Instagram
Bay.
girlfriend. Oh,
Wait,
sorry.
wait, no. Is that a thing? Did I miss that?
Has that been verified?
There's rumors. There's
Yeah, just
rumors.
Okay.
What are we talking about here? Like, you know what I mean?
26-year-old model.
Holy crap. I didn't think you would go that young.
Apparently, she's most famous for saying that she can't post photos on Instagram because her body is like that outrageous that people get mad at her.
Oh, all right.
kinda
goes
like-
back.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Very
we will
relatable.
talk after the show because I am on Instagram. And anywho, yeah, you know, Jesse's thing was she didn't think he would pull this move where he would go this young because, you know, he's such like a professional, has so much business stuff like off the field. Do you know what I mean?
Listen.
And he's like past that stage, but I guess he's going through midlife crisis. Didn't he
to
buy
go
a boat recently?
completely off the rails, Tom Brady low key has that dog in him. Okay,
Yeah.
before he settled down,
Yeah.
that man was out there in the streets. Okay,
I mean, he did. If I remember correctly, didn't he have 2 kids with like 2 different women in like
Bridget
the span of a
Monahan.
year?
Yeah, for sure,
Bridget
he had
Monahan,
one.
which she's fantastic. Like she really is. Yeah, he had one. I think he had one kid with him, and I think it was his 13th birthday the other day.
Yeah.
And then he had a couple other kids with.
Yeah, that
with
that
Giselle.
story, if that happened today, that would be, I mean, you know, like it's funny. Like when that happened, I was like, what? Like, people are just like, okay, it's like he's got
What?
anyways,
What do you think he does if this relationship goes on and this 26-year-old Maddie says, "I want to have kids. I want to have a kid with you."
yeah. He says, sure, just don't expect me to be there for him.
Yeah, man, because you know what? He's going to be playing for the freaking Niners next year. He's got 2
Yeah.
more years in him. This is my
Damn right.
prediction. He's got 2 more years in him. He's going to play for the Niners. He'll win the Super Bowl with them, which would be absolutely impressive. And I also think there's still a chance he wins the Super Bowl this year with the path that he's going to have. And I think at one point may have to face Brock Purdy and the 49ers in the postseason. He's got to do it this week. Before we get out of here, are you backing Tom Brady here in like this homecoming and coming off that incredible Monday night performance? I know the defense isn't the same when you compare San Francisco and New Orleans.
I mean, well, just comparing the defense for the Bucs to what it was last year, I don't think it's the same. The offensive line certainly isn't the same. Leonard Fournette isn't the same. Mike Evans doesn't really look the same. The 49ers are one of my favorite picks this week. I don't see any reason why Brock Purdy can't do some of the same exact things that Jimmy Garoppolo does. Like Jimmy Garoppolo is not out there reinventing the wheel at the quarterback position. He's getting the ball in the hands of Christian McCaffrey, of Deebo Samuel, and he's letting those guys make plays. And Purdy held his own last week against the Dolphins in a week where he had, I'm sure, no practice reps. Like he just came in cold and he won them a game. I think that the talent differential between the rest of the other positions outside of quarterback is just massively pointing towards the 49ers. So I'm still buying them. I still think that they have a chance to win the NFC West. Sorry, Pierce, to possibly even win a playoff round or two and let Jimmy Garoppolo get back in there at some point.
There is nothing I wanted more than when I saw this game on the schedule, Jeff, for it to be Tom Brady and Jimmy G. Like Jimmy G just had to get injured last week. Like, son of a bitch. Come on, dude. Like, get out there. Like, I don't know. Take some painkillers, do something illegal that keeps you out there.
I was really hoping too that San Francisco and Jimmy G would eliminate them in the playoffs as well, and really just like maybe get 2 wins over them in like the span of a month and a half. But yeah, I'm with you. I would have liked to see Jimmy G get his. He deserves it, but I am completely with LaMarca here. Again, we differentiated on one game. That's all you get this week. The 49ers are a bunch of alphas. Kittle, Bosa, McCaffrey. These guys are not going to let Tom Brady walk into San Francisco and just beat them. No way. I think Birdie will just do what he needs to do. Kyle Shanahan he's a genius. He's probably the best play caller, probably the best offensive mind in the game. I maintain that, and he will find a way to facilitate and get the ball in the hand of his best players. And I think 49ers probably win here, and that's it. I don't know. I mean, at some point, in the playoffs, like their quarterback is going to be an issue, but I just don't think it's going to be here. I think it'll probably be later on down the road against like a Philly or something.
Hold on, Matt. The link, it says you followed may be broken or the page may have been removed. I'm trying to.
I'll take care of you. Don't worry.
Yeah. Thanks, dude. Thanks. I'm just trying to take a gander at his future wife here. Wait, Eamon said no, it worked. Okay, I'll have to look on my phone.
I mean, I could get it up on the screen here. I'm screen sharing.
Okay, yeah, I bet you
Really
could
get ourselves in trouble if we wanted to.
Yeah, I bet you could. All right, we gotta go. Jeff, I can't. I effing love you guys, man. I would do anything for you guys. I really would.
Thanks,
I would do
man.
anything for you too, DK on the ones and twos, and producer Eamon. Thanks everybody for hanging with us. And yeah, we're back in studio 11 o'clock Eastern time Sunday morning, talking the week 14 slate before kickoff. So we'll see everyone then. Have a great night. Safe weekend.